I started Joyride because I was trying to solve a problem for myself. I'm a cyclist here in Toronto, and I was commuting every day, and I didn't want people to steal my bike, which was number one, because I didn't have a lot of money to buy a new bike. And it was also really unsafe commuting every day downtown. And I thought if there was a way to track the location of my bike in case it got stolen and also share that data with the city, maybe they could build better cycling infrastructure. And so I built this tracking device I could put on my bike, and it used the free public Wi-Fi in the city so I could find it wherever it went. And it turned out to be a really good solution for bike sharing and bike rental companies. And so we started working with bike sharing companies, not just here in Toronto, but in a couple other cities around the world. And they were testing the solution, and people got really excited about it. And then around the same time, bike sharing in China became really popular. And what happened in China was instead of requiring docking stations for bike sharing, you can just take out your phone and scan a QR code and unlock a bike and lock it wherever you want. And so I thought that idea was also really interesting and could change the way people were renting bikes. And so we started to build more of a solution around that. And people started reaching out and saying, hey, can you help us launch our own version of a bike sharing solution in our city? And so that's what we started doing. We started helping other businesses launch bike sharing. That quickly evolved into scooter sharing. I'm sure you've seen scooters and people riding scooters. And so that became popular really quickly. And since then, we've evolved into other forms of mobility. So the first prototype was like a Raspberry Pi, and those had just started coming out. And so that was the first prototype. And we started building something off of that. So then we developed our own PCB, and then we started developing our own software, which was also very bad at the time. It was like 2016, and it could just track the location of the bike, and you could do a couple other things with it. You could like lock, unlock some certain things. Like we had a smart bike lock that we would mount onto a bike. But that's pretty much it at the time. It wasn't that great, but people were using it, and we had like people we didn't know using our product, which was really exciting the first time I got to see that. Like the first person who rented one of our bikes and was riding around, I remember watching it. It was like really cold in an office one time in like December. We had an office in London. Yeah, and it was really exciting to see that. But yeah, that was the first version. So since we've started, we've had millions of people use our product, and they've ridden vehicles around the world for over 23 million miles, which has been able to offset thousands of greenhouse gases, which we're really excited about. We see the future of sustainable mobility not just being in the consumer space, and you think of Tesla as like the number one EV company, but now it's moving into other industries. And so we see a lot of delivery companies, for example, moving away from these big trucks in cities to downsizing their vehicles. And maybe they're using just a bike, maybe they're using a hybrid of a cargo bike and some trailer in the back for all their packages. We've even seen Amazon in New York just have people walk around with a cart like a wagon and make deliveries. And so sustainable mobility doesn't just mean a car with a battery. It actually means reducing the size of the vehicle to create a smaller carbon footprint. Integrating with Joyride is really simple. We provide the entire software stack and also the hardware that gets integrated directly into the vehicle. So you as a business owner, all you have to worry about is making sure you have happy customers, managing your brand, and managing the vehicles themselves. And then we'll deliver everything else to make it really simple for you to do that. So whether it's checking battery life remotely, whether it's tracking the location of the vehicles, making sure people aren't driving the vehicles outside of certain areas, managing all of your payments and your customer support experience, that's all managed within the Joyride platform. The areas I see Joyride going into are we're working now with some really big OEMs that have the ability to deploy this technology to not just a couple hundred vehicles or thousands of vehicles, but potentially hundreds of thousands of vehicles, impacting the lives of millions in a really fast and scalable way. So that's what's really exciting. I think some of the use cases that I've found very interesting and fun that we didn't predict several years ago or when we started the business was we have one customer that provides scooter sharing for places like zoos and malls, and they'll actually decorate the vehicles as animals so you can ride around with your kid or your grandparent, and people of all ages will ride them around. I got the opportunity to test it out in Miami at the Miami Zoo. They were all being used. They're all sold out. People from all ages were riding around these things, ripping around the zoo. It was a lot of fun. A lot of businesses are using our technology in their warehouse to manage their fleet of vehicles internally for their employees, which is not something that we would have imagined several years ago, but it's something that our customers are asking for. And so that's really exciting for us. It's a whole new environment, whole new set of requirements, but it just proves that Joyride can be incorporated into all of these different use cases.
Did you imagine it going to this level?
No, of course not. No, I did not imagine it going to this level at all. Like I said, I was really just trying to solve a problem for myself. And it kind of snowballed from there. I realized I could only take the product so far by myself, and I needed to bring on other people to help me do that. To do that, I needed to pay them. To pay them, I needed some capital. I didn't have a product to sell, so I needed to ask some money from family and friends. They gave me some money. We raised $23,500. And and so it was really just the fear of not being able to pay them back that drove me to keep trying to build a business at a time when it made no sense to build the business. Like this was like 2014, 2015. There was no micromobility market. The concept of micromobility didn't exist. That word didn't exist. There was just like the traditional bike sharing space. And so I think my lack of understanding of like how this could actually evolve as a business really kind of helped drive it helped me realize that helped me think I could keep going when we probably, I think a normal person would have gave up a couple times beforehand, is what I'm really trying to say. My advice for an entrepreneur is build something you're really passionate about, because that's going to be the only thing that keeps you motivated. If you're building something because you think there's a lot of hype or you can build a super big business, there's going to be 1,000 other entrepreneurs trying to do the exact same thing as you anyways. So you need to be super passionate about what you're building, or else you're going to give up really quickly.